I am not about to waste a halfway decent hair day.
La la la, clicky keyboard noises. La la la, keyboard noises.
Alas, I am not here to inform you that I have finished draft 1 of my Hook book. In fact, this video is about the exact opposite. I've mentioned it before, but if you're new here, I'll say it again. My name's Jennifer McPeak, and I am a slow writer. For the most part, I can look at where I am and be proud of what I have accomplished and not let my slow pace bother me. Sometimes, though, when I look at people who seem like they're in a similar point in their lives to me, and they've got a bunch of books published or they can write at really impressive speeds, I deflate a little bit and I wonder if I really am doing my best or if I'm utilizing my spare time to the fullest. And I know where some of my shortcomings are productivity wise. It does take me a long time to get into a writing groove, sometimes longer than I actually have available to dedicate to writing. I also get distracted really easy. A quick internet search for something could very quickly lead to a wild tangent if I don't actively set a timer before I start that search. By the way, I do really need to find a desktop app that like blocks most of the internet for me except for like Google Drive. I used to have one a couple of computers ago. I think I had one on my laptop in college, but I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. So if you have any suggestions on a preferably free app for that, let me know in the comments because I need something to keep me from getting distracted. It helps me get back into my world if I reread the past couple pages that I had written and then get into the story, but I'm also really tempted to edit those couple of pages as I'm reading through them. If I write while my kid's awake, writing time very quickly becomes my kid sighing every 5 or so seconds, going, Mommy, why is it taking so long? So I was sneaking my writing on my phone, writing a few sentences here and there while my kid was occupied. But he wised up to that real quick. So now every time I pull out my phone, it's, Mommy, what's going on? Can I look? I want to help. And all of those things together, when I'm already feeling kind of bleh about where I am, just kind of takes me lower. But at the same time, I have to remind myself that all of this is temporary. One day my kid's going to be in school. He wants to spend time with me, and I love that. So I kind of have to wait until he's asleep. I read my book while he's falling asleep, hang out with Hubs for a little bit, and then I go off and do my own thing. It's not a huge chunk of time writing after everybody goes to sleep, maybe half an hour, but there have been nights that I have written past 11 o'clock, and honestly, I like writing at night. It's quieter, it's more peaceful, and I also have to remind myself that yes, some people can crank out 2 books a year or rapid release one every month while I'm still plugging away at what I hope to be my debut novel, but I'm still plugging away. And that's the important part. There was a period in my life where I had given up. I stopped writing. I wasn't doing anything. And I just kept this circular, oh, I should be writing. Oh, I'm not any good at writing. Oh, might as well not even try because it's not going to go anywhere. But then I still just wanted to write, but I wasn't writing. And I remember how I was in that period when I wasn't writing and how bad I felt. And I think about how I am now and how happy and content I am now that I'm back to writing. I've also learned that the things that used to work for me don't work for me anymore, or at least not for this project. When I was writing Slightly Supernatural, my paranormal mystery, I wrote it in silence. I did not have any music on, I didn't have any white noise. I just sat in front of the screen, cranked it out. The only sounds were the sounds of the house, and that was how I kept my focus. But for the Hook book, I have noticed that I do write better when I've got music playing in my headphones. I used to need silence to focus, and I might need silence to focus again one day, but right now, the noise is helping to keep me focused on all of the random cats screwing around in the house, noises that happen late at night. Speaking of cats, cat update. I don't think Willow's ever going to get out of that collar. She was basically better. The spot behind her ear was all healed up. The hair was coming back. Like it was pretty much all gone. It was just like the teeniest little spot. The spot under her neck was basically just a scar, but the hair was coming up around it too, and everything was doing good. So that was like, yeah, she's doing great. We can start weaning her off of the medicine. We can take her off of the collar. She'll be good because she's not scratching at it. 2 days without that collar. She came up to get pets at night, and I noticed a wet spot behind her ear. She scratched it up again. And this part, she had just licked it or somehow gotten a hold of it. I guess she can get to it just enough to lick at it. So she had started looking at that, but she's got that scratched up again. And so back into the collar with her. I basically just got myself in cat form. She keeps getting injured. She keeps making it worse because she just can't help herself. But the other cats are doing just fine, except Friday's also got something going on with one of his ears. I put on a little like calming pheromone collar for him, and that seems to be mellowing him out a lot. He hasn't been messing with the ear as much. Hopefully, I don't have to take him to the vet. He has spicy in all caps written on his paperwork. We have to drug him before we take him to the vet. Really don't want to have to take him to the vet. We'll have to see. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. We are talking about me pep talking myself into not hating myself when I see other people are doing better than me and not comparing myself to others. Whenever I start to beat myself up for being a slow writer or for not being as far into my writing career as I would have liked to be, I just have to remind myself that I am showing up. I'm not working myself to the point of burnout like I was doing last year, where I was inundating myself with so much information that I was paralyzed and couldn't even figure out where to start. I could just be twiddling my thumbs and lamenting that I'm not writing, but I am writing. Yeah, it's not very much and it's not very fast. So what if my pace is slower than some other people? They're doing what works for them, and I'm doing what works for me. And besides, comparing myself to other people is only hurting me. They're running their own race, and me feeling sorry for myself because I'm not keeping up with them is just going to keep me from moving forward. I don't know how hard they worked to get where they are. I don't know the sacrifices they've had to make. I just need to show up for my own race, keep showing up, not get bogged down by feeling like I'm not as good as another writer or I'm not as good of a writer as someone else just because I don't have a backlog, a published backlog. I do have a backlog, but I don't have a published backlog. Not since Quizilla got shut down. At the end of the day, you have to live with you. You don't have to live with them. So be proud of you and the things that you're doing. As long as you're showing up and you're doing your best, that's what matters. And one day you will have that backlog, and one day you will have multiple things published, and you'll be able to look back on this time that you were like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything, and realize just how much you were actually doing. And that's the thought that I'm keeping in my head. And here's a fun fact for you that my husband somehow neglected to tell me, hearing all the times that he has info dumped to me about ants. They don't have lungs. They've got a tracheal system where the air goes through these little, like, I guess, openings on their, like, the sides of their bodies or something. And the air goes through their bodies that way, and the tracheal tube things just, like, distributes the oxygen in and takes the carbon dioxide out. No lungs required. That's wild. Hello, this is Nadia. Anyway, thank you for listening to me basically give myself a pep talk about not comparing myself to others. If this video resonated with you, I give you all the virtual hugs. Know that you're not alone. We'll get through this together. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer McPeak. I am a currently unpublished author of paranormal mysteries, adventure fantasies, and love stories. If you'd like to follow me along on my writing and publishing journey, and I would love if you did, I post new videos every other Wednesday where I talk about reading, writing, arts and crafts, and occasionally give myself pep talks that I hope that other people will also benefit from. I'm also available on Instagram J McPeak Writes if you'd like to follow me there as well. And with that, I'm going to put on my pajamas and get some writing done before bed. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Later.
La la la, clicky keyboard noises. La la la, keyboard noises.